Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special English tea episode of Almost Martha. And it's tea day, it's a beautiful day, it's going to be fantastic. I have so much to do. I know I did some things prepped, right? Like we have 2 cakes and we have the coronation chicken made, but we still have to make the finger sandwiches, we still have to make the scones, so there's still a lot to do. So I'm going to speed part of this up so I can tell you what I did, and then we can slow it down and make a thing or two together. But hold on, there's a lot to do, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So get ready. Let's go.
To make your English tea sandwiches, you need to start by taking the crusts off your bread. I needed 3 different loaves of bread. So I had some brioche, I had some sourdough, I had some white bread, and we really wanted thin bread, but the brioche was rather thick, so I did something my grandmother used to do. I took out my rolling pin and I just flattened that bread just a little bit, and that gives me that thin piece of bread that I'm looking for to build my sandwich. The first sandwich I assembled was the coronation chicken that we made on a previous episode, and I put that on that brioche bread. Here I took some sourdough bread. First I spread just a little bit of butter on the bread for moisture, and then I added some mustard, some English mustard, of course. I then took some thin sliced Black Forest ham and I made sure that I covered my piece of bread entirely. I then added slices of brie on top of the ham, and then a very thin sliced green apple went on top of that. And there was your ham and apple and brie sandwich. And the last sandwich was a simple egg salad sandwich. I whipped up some egg salad using Duke's mayonnaise, a little bit of relish, and some chopped chives. I then cut all of my sandwiches long ways, or like the British say, in little soldiers.
So my sandwiches are ready, and I've put them, I'm going to serve them on 2 long platters, and I'll have a platter in reserve in case I need some more. So as you can see, here we are. So I've got the ham here in the middle. I put a little dot of mustard. I have the chicken salad here. The egg salad, I put a little pickle on top so everybody could tell the difference. So isn't that fabulous? So now I can't wait. So I have still about an hour and a half, right, before they come. So I'm taking a tea towel and I've spritzed some water on it because we don't want the sandwich bread to dry out. I probably shouldn't have put the mustard on top of the ham yet, but I did. So I'm going to put a tea towel over them, and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator. Then I'm going to pull them out right as they start to come so they won't be really, really cold. Okay.
I also made a quick pastry crust and I pressed it in the bottom of a muffin pan. I didn't fill it all the way up because I wanted shallow little tarts, and it worked out pretty well. And then I had a cheat.
I am using some store-bought lemon curd from Stonewall Kitchen. Their stuff is so good, and what a beautiful bright lemony color this curd is. So I just didn't have time to do my curd because I still have to make my scones. So this will be just fine. You know, I have all these cakey things, so I really did need something creamy. So this is going to be perfect. This is going to be perfect. Okay, English scone time. So English scones are a little different from the kind of scones that you get, let's say if you go to Starbucks, right? These scones are meant to be eaten with jam and clotted cream or butter. We're going to do butter And I am making a sort of a double batch because I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to have at least 2 scones. So hope my food processor can handle it. So we'll see. A little more flour. I'm at the bottom here. I've made a lot of stuff. So let's hope. There we go. So I'm looking at about 3.5 cups, maybe just a tad more. All right, I thought I had 3.5 cups to start with, but then when I looked, I didn't. So, okay, here we go. So I'm gonna put this right into my food processor. A lot of flour. A lot of flour. Okay, so now we're gonna add in baking powder. So it's about 2 tablespoons and then about a third of a tablespoon. So here's one. I know it seems like a lot, but you want these babies to rise. So I'm gonna guesstimate what a third is. Put that right in there. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, now I need 1 teaspoon of salt. It seems like a lot, but there's a lot of baking powder too. Okay, that goes in. 1/4 cup plus 3 tablespoons of sugar. So I got my 1/4 cup. And there's my 3 tablespoons. Kind of got some odd fractions on this thing because I doubled the recipe. So all of my dry ingredients are in there now, and I'm just going to pulse it a little bit. Get them all mixed in together. Okay, now I need 10 tablespoons of unsalted butter. It says at room temperature, which is really kind of different because normally you want to add cold butter in here. But it says, room temperature. So what do they know? What do they know, the English? They know how to make their scones. Okay. I'm going to have to do it like this because this butter's so pliable. Okay. I'm going to put the last little bit right in here. All right, that's good. Now I need to take 1 cup of milk, 1 cup and about 3 tablespoons of milk, to which I'm going to add 2 lightly beaten eggs. I'm going to whisk this mixture together. So it gets this nice sort of yellow colored milk, right? Now it wants me to reserve, just make sure I got this all cleaned out here. It wants me to reserve about 3 tablespoons of this mixture because that's what we will brush on the top of the scones, like instead for our egg wash. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're just going to set that aside for now. Okay, so our butter has been pulsed in. Now we want to remove this mixture from our food processor and put it into a large mixing bowl. And in this case, it's going to really take a large mixing bowl. And now we're going to start to fold in our egg and milk mixture. Just start, and then I'll finish putting it in. Okay. Okay. So this is a little different than making, you know, a lot of people think of scones as just a regular biscuit, but this has egg, so that really kind of changes that recipe a bit. Okay. Now you can start to see that it's pretty crumbly, but parts of it are wet. So we're just gonna, as lightly as possible, we want to incorporate the moisture, but we don't want to overdo it either. So we have to be kind of careful. So now we have what we can call sort of a rough dough. So parts of it are still a little dry, parts of it are wet, but I think now we are where we can start to knead it a little bit. So I'm going to take a trusty piece of parchment paper, keep it from sticking, just put it right on top of my cutting board, and then I'm going to put this dough right in the center. A lot of scones. Okay, and now we're going to knead this dough a little bit. You don't want to do it too much, because if you knead it too much, then the dough is going to get tough. The last thing that you want is for this dough to get tough. So let's just knead it a little bit. I hesitate, even though they say to put flour in it, you know, sprinkle it with flour before you knead it. Because as Chef Elise said in Paris, whatever you add flour to that mixture, you know, you're going to change the complexity of it. But I think in this case, as my mother sprinkled flour over biscuit dough for years, I think I'm going to have to do the same thing. All right, I'm just going to lightly sprinkle a little bit of flour on there, not too much, but a little bit. We're going to knead it just a tiny bit, not too much, not too much. You don't want it to get tough. You don't want that at all, but it does have to be able to be rolled. So the flour in this case is needed. Okay, I think we're there. I think we're totally there. So I'm just going to sprinkle a tad more. I'm going to pat this out into a little bit of a bigger circle. So they want this dough to be about an inch thick, because you want them nice and tall. So I think we are about there. Yep, I wouldn't go any smaller. Okay. Okay, I have my trusty cutter, and now I'm gonna cut this. Put it on my baking sheet. Actually, hold it. I'm gonna put a little silk pat on here. There we go. Protect this little bottom. There we go. Ooh, the birds are active today. Now the oven is on 425, so like a biscuit, a scone likes hot ovens. So it's they are very similar in that way. So now we're just we can play with this dough a tiny bit, just to make sure that we don't miss out on any scony goodness. I've seen my mother do this many a time. Hi, Mom. Many a time. Okay. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. I mean, I guess we could, but we got a lot of scones. We got a lot of scones. All right, last one. Last one. I'm gonna fit you in right here. Might look a little weird, but there you go. Okay. So now, remember our egg wash. We are going to brush that on top of our scones. Now I'm just gonna dip my little brush in here. This on the top. Beautiful. I have some of that sparkling sugar, which I really love. It just sort of dresses up everything. I'm gonna sprinkle some of this on top. So it's just sort of large sugar crystals. It's a nice effect. Looks pretty on top of sugar cookies and all that good stuff. So beauteous. Okay. So now we're ready to pop our scones in the oven. I'm actually gonna keep these on reserve for about 10 or 15 minutes before I put them in the oven because I want them to be slightly warm a little later. Okay. Okay, here they are. Aren't they gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. I just pulled them out of the oven and look how lovely that they rose and everything. How beautiful is that? So, and the little icing sugar on there looks really nice and pretty. Really, really great. So now everything's done. My sandwiches are made. My desserts are made. My scones are made. I'm just going to put a little tea towel over them and they can just sit right here until I'm ready to put them on a nice serving platter and take them out. Oh, you want it would be nice if they're still slightly warm, but you don't want them too hot. So this should be perfect. Perfect, perfect. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. So there you have it. Nice English scones. I'm going to serve it with butter and some whipped cream and strawberry jam. And even though it's not classic, a little blueberry jam too. So they can decide what kind of jam they want. So I'm going to be showing some pictures of the tea and the table and stuff today. But if you want this recipe, go to almost-martha.com and you'll find it there along with all the other recipes that I've done. Hi, Mom. We'll see you next time. Until next time, cheerio.